Hey guys. So I think we are already 20-30 minutes late. I'm really sorry about it. There were some technical issues. So I think you guys must have been waiting. So let's just get started. So just give me a thumbs up if I'm audible to everyone or anybody. I'll just know. Okay, I have not got any thumbs up. Can anybody hear me? All right. Okay. Cool. So let's get started. Today we are going to paint mountains and meadows. I'll be using bit of acrylic and gouache mixed. I'll tell you the difference about the mediums as well, but you can use either of them. You can even use poster colors. They have slightly thick consistency than watercolors. So please don't go for watercolors. Anything poster, gouache or acrylic should be good. And as you can see on the screen, I'll be using this Gouache Pad by MENORAH. So this is the one that I have from them. Like I don't have anything specific acrylic with me here. They do have some acrylic canvas boards and all. But I prefer using this Gouache Pad as it gives me the flexibility to work on different mediums. So this is like 240 GSM drawing paper and works really well for gouache. Like for the gouache medium you need your colors to blend really well. For acrylics too. So you'll see the difference as we proceed. So this is like A4 sheets. There are 20 sheets in this one, and I personally prefer to divide my paper into half because I like painting A3 sizes more. So that's what we'll be doing today. I'll just turn it around. Other materials, I'll just quickly give you a run of what the other materials I'll be using. So I'm using like whatever shades I have. So we'll need blue. Any blue and white is mandatory. Any kind of yellow and green should do. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the specific shade. I can tell you how to mix them. Just basic blue, yellow, green, red and white. I missed right. Red. We will need a little bit of red or maybe pink just for the flowers, so you can choose your color. We'll need a cup of water and a palette to mix colors. Any old plate will also do, or a paper plate or anything. We'll need a masking tape to tape down our paper, and also to like keep the paper straight, not give it a good border and all kind of feeling. Brushes that I'll be using today are I'll start from the first brush that I'll use. So this is size 6, and you can see it's not a flat brush, it's slightly curved one, and I really like this brush because when I blend the background, it really blends well. Okay, Hindi please. Okay, so okay, so brush, I really don't know Hindi में कैसे समझाना है इसका. Corner is a bit round, like flat. I can show you. तो ये हिंदी ब्रश, ये फ्लैट ब्रश है और ये स्लाइटली राउंडेड ब्रश है. एंड आई प्रेफर दिस ब्रश ब्लेंडिंग के लिए. ब्लेंडिंग I'll show you what blending is. एंड डिटेलिंग के लिए एनी कोई भी ब्रश साइज 0 का शुड बी फाइन. फॉर अदर बिट्स जो छोटे मोटे हम डिटेलिंग लाइक माउंटेन्स में करेंगे या माउंटेन पेंट करेंगे, उसके लिए हम कोई भी साइज 6 ब्रश, 8 ब्रश वी कैन यूज. So I think I have a few audience which might not understand Hindi, so I'll prefer to stick to English. If you have any queries, just pop it in the chat box. I'll repeat in Hindi also. Okay, so first step is I'll put on the masking tape and divide the sheet into half. So here is how I put the masking tape. Okay. So just after I apply or like stick the masking tape, I run a finger over it just like this so that it sticks well, and if it will be loose, the color will go through it. So just to make sure that does not happen. Okay. So that's the very first step. I divide my paper. Okay, cool. Okay. Next step is that I will be doing a little bit of sketching of the landscape that I'll do. So it's not too much. It's a very basic, easy sketching. So I'll just make a horizon line. So horizon line, if I explain, it's just like a line somewhere in the distance, जिसके beyond एक अलग view आता है, like there's a different view beyond it. So somewhere here, like this is the middle of the paper, somewhere above the middle of the paper, I will just draw a line, a horizon line, and I will just sketch a mountain. So I'm sketching a little bit dark so that you guys can see it on the screen, but you can go ahead and, you know, sketch it light. So a basic shape of a mountain. Don't make a straight line. Just try to keep little bit of, you know, curvy, because that will give it a more natural look. So this is the mountain, and that's all that I will be sketching for now. Rest everything will be done in paints. Okay. So to start with the painting, I have a tip that always start to paint from top to bottom. Reason is, if you start painting from the bottom and if you paint the top later, you'll smudge your hands as well as your painting. So start from the top and from the left. If you are a right-hander, start from the left. Okay. So top left is where I start. So I'm using this ultramarine blue, and I'll be using it, mixing it with a little bit of white for the sky. For gouache medium, if you are using gouache, you will need to like wetten the tip of your brush a little bit to take the color. If you are using acrylics, stick with minimum water. Okay, so I'm using gouache. I'll use a little bit of water, and after like dipping my brush in the water, I'll gently tap it on my rough tissue or any old cloth, and I'll just mix it on my palette. So just excuse my palette, it's not clean, but yeah, it will serve the purpose. So just a second. Next is a bit of white. I'm taking white acrylic here. So you can go for any kind of white, just not watercolor. And I'll push it through my, okay. So I hope I'm not rushing through this. I'm trying to be as slow, but I'm not based in India, so it's very late here. But anyway, we'll like catch up. So this is the kind of blue that I want for the sky. You can see it's not dark, it's not very light. It's just the perfect shade for a sky. So we mix it really well. And in case of doubt, always mix a little bit of more color, because you know what happens when we mix colors again, we might end up creating a different shade. So try to mix colors like more. I know they will dry and eventually get wasted, but at least your painting will be preserved. Okay, so you can use a brush with either rounded corners, flashed brush with rounded corners, or you can use a simple flat brush. So if I just show you with a simple flat brush, because it's easily available in the market. This is size 2. Okay, a very small brush. So I'll just start painting from the top left, as I'm right-handed. So I'll just start like this. Okay, and just run through my sky. Since I'm using gouache, I can keep adding a little bit of water, But if you are using acrylics, please don't add any water. I'm repeating myself. Even if you are using a poster color, you can add a little bit of water to dilute them. See, so I'm just leaving the area of the mountain here. And I'm painting the sky. So I may be missing out on your queries as I'm painting. I'm not looking into the phone, but I'll definitely try to, look at it in between when you guys are painting. So if you guys are painting with me, I'll just give a pause for 2 minutes after painting the sky. So just make sure, like, you're just painting like this. It's okay if you get a little bit of color in the mountain, because anyway we want our mountain to look natural and it does not have any straight lines or anything. So this is the sky that I'm looking for. So I'll just give a couple of minutes and I'll also go through the chat if there is any query. One by one from the starting. Okay. I'm not audible, somebody said, but most of the people can hear me. So maybe you need to rejoin. Okay, so I don't see any art related queries so far. If I have missed, please feel free to write it again. Okay. So I'll just I'll make sure that this like paint that I have done on the sky is a little bit of dry. So again, difference between gouache and acrylics, that acrylics dry very quickly, and you have that freedom of painting quickly on it. But since I have used gouache, there is a little bit of wetness, at least in this area. You can't see it on camera, but I can see it from a different angle here. But it's more or less it's dry. So I'll start with the clouds. Start by painting the clouds. My clouds will be obviously white. I can give it a little bit of touch of the blue ones. I have already taken like white paint in my brush, and I'll just tap a little bit. Why am I tapping it a little bit in the same sky blue? Yes, sure, Preeti, you can tell me a painting. But sorry for the interruption. So the reason that I have taken a little bit of blue is because I want it to blend it with my background. I don't want a white cloud to pop out in my sky. Okay, so to make the cloud, I I cannot really explain the movement of my hand, but you can see little like how am I doing it, right? So I'm trying to blend it with the background and making a few clouds like by rotating my hand like this. So this is how. And you need, if you want to give an unfinished touch to it, so you don't have to make any perfect shape here. And just to ensure that it blends really well, just with the tip of your finger, mix this. Okay, and this will mix so beautifully. If you are using a acrylic, it will just blend it. So this is my gouache paint. It's not blending properly, but just, I'll just make a few clouds. Some will be sharp white, some can be, little blended in the background, and so on. So not too many of them here, few here and there, just for the sky. Okay, just like this. So I think I'm like, I shouldn't overdo it. So I'll just keep the clouds like this. And next, so I think you guys will be having a recording of this session in case you feel that I'm going a bit fast for you. So you can always go back and see the recording. So I'll just move on to the next bit, which is the mountain area. Okay. So for the mountain area, again, I'm using the same shade of blue. It's ultramarine blue, but I'll be using it in a darker form. So I had mixed a little bit of white for the sky. Here I'm not going to mix any color. And also I'll be changing my brush to a round brush now. Okay. So uh, okay, I'm sorry about it. There was some internet issue. I have a question. What are you making? So I'm making a mountain and meadows painting, landscape painting. And I was right here. Like I have painted the sky and the clouds. And next time painting is the mountain. And unlike the sky, I will not be painting the mountain, completely, but just bits and pieces here and there. And also, like one important piece of information when you're painting a mountain, I prefer to use a dry brush technique. Dry brush is, I don't use any water in my paint. So that gives it a natural kind of look. And the reason I'm leaving some white spaces is because that's where the snow will be. Okay, so the drier your brush is, it will seem like more natural, rugged kind of feel. So this is how you can use any strokes in any direction. Try to keep it dry, the brush dry, and also in some areas you can just darken the mountain a little bit. Like whenever you see snow anywhere, it's usually more snow at the top of the mountains. So top of the mountains will be a little lighter in shade, but the bottom of the mountain, maybe we can just add a darker shade to it. So these little details matter a lot when you are painting, because this is what sets your painting apart and look more realistic. So if you're adding using gouache, or your brush is too dry, then you can maybe wetten it a little bit for the area at the bottom of the mountain. And this is, I think, good enough. I'll leave the mountain here. I will not color it more. So what I will do is, in the remaining area where you see the white in the mountains, I will apply some white gouache or acrylic paint, whatever you have. So I'll just go with it and just make a few highlights, okay, at some places in between. So it will just mix the blue and little bit of white and give shades to your mountain. So it will start looking more like snowy instead of just white there. Okay, so you can do as much as you want as an artist. Like, I cannot recommend you when to stop. It's your like call when you feel that it's enough, and you should not be overdoing it as well. But again, it's your choice to make how much color you want to put in. So I feel I have put in a little bit of more blue here, so I'm adding just little pieces of white for the snow. Okay, some here. And okay, cool. So this is how my mountain should look like. Bits and pieces of snow. Now by the time I let my mountain area dry, because I will be painting like trees, pine trees on top of it, but it needs to dry first before I start painting here in this area. So I'll start painting the meadow now. And for meadow, obviously you need a green and a yellow. So a yellow would be preferably I'll use a lemon yellow, and any kind of green is fine. Like it can be sap green or just a normal green color. So okay, so I have mixed a little bit of green and yellow to paint the mountain area. Okay, and I will be switching between green and yellows to give it a realistic shade. First, I will just be doing a layer. So this is how I start painting the layer of green. Just try to cover all the whites that you have here. Okay. Once you've covered the borders, you can just leave your hand free to paint the rest of the area. Okay. This is the first layer, guys, that I'm painting for the meadow. And I prefer to paint the entire area, entire white area. You can also use a flat brush here because it's a larger area. So I just had color on my round brush, so I'm using that, but you can use a flat brush too. Okay. I am using green because I will be using different shades on top of it. This is just the base layer that I am preparing. So that's how I like to prepare, so that I just cover all the white area first, and then, you know, I don't see any spaces of white anywhere. So just try to cover it that way. Yeah, that's done. Okay. Now I'll be taking a little bit of yellow, which is lemon yellow. This is lemon yellow, and I'll be doing some, you know, blending here now. Now you see, if you see, it doesn't look completely yellow. It's like a mix, it's like a shade, and which gives it, you know, a more realistic look, because nothing is just one color out there in nature. It's mostly a mix, a blend of different shades. So some areas you can leave dark, some areas you can leave light, and that's how you can proceed. Okay, I prefer to keep the areas at the bottom a little bit darker in shade, because you know, like it's towards the ground, so it's usually a bit darker. Okay, now I will just add a little bit of dark green to the bottom. You can also add a little bit of brown if you want. If you don't want to, don't. Okay, so yeah. So what I was saying is, I keep a little bit of darker area at the bottom, as because it's more closer to the ground area, the soil area. You can also add a little bit of brown, and make sure you just blend it with the, you know, the remaining area, the yellows that you have added. So now you can see there are different shades. There is a light green, there is some yellow, there is darker green. If you want to add brown, you can add a little bit of brown or black, anything. So I like to keep it this way, my meadow green. So that's how I do it. Okay, so now next, my mountain must have dried, so I'll be painting some pine trees on top of it, 2 pine trees to be specific. And to paint the pine trees, I will be using black, and I will not be no, I can't make Goku character. So for black, I'll not be using black directly. I'll mix black with a little bit of blue to blend it naturally in the background. If I just apply black, it will stand out straight and not look very realistic. So it always has to blend. And I already have some kind of blue here. So I took a little bit of black, very little, less of it, because black is a very dark shade, right? So, and then it kind of turns gray, and then I start painting my pines here. So this is all dry. If you're using acrylic, it will dry really, really quickly. So, okay. For the pine, how do I paint it? I just draw a, you know, vertical line first. Okay, so I'll just draw one vertical line here, and the other pine will be a little taller than this one. So probably I can start it from here. So I'm just roughly sketching. Okay, so I have just sketched 2 rough lines where I will be drawing 2 pine trees, and you can use a pencil also if you're not very confident with paint. So after sketching these 2 vertical lines and making sure that my background is entirely dry, I'll start from the top. Okay, so I'll just kind of rotate this a little bit. So I'll start from the top and I'll make very small leaves, very small, like, I'll just pull it closer. It's very small, see. And as my pine grows towards the bottom, the leaves will grow in size, right? So it's like basic science, like when we look at the top of the tree, the leaves look small, and when we are standing near it, it's, when it's closer to us, the leaves are large. So yeah, that's what we are doing here. Okay, and I leave some spaces, like I don't paint a leaf entirely, I just leave some spaces like this to give it a more natural kind of look. You can see here, I'll be painting another pine if you are just looking at this one, so that's all good. And you guys will be having a recording of this session anyway if you want to revisit it at any time. Okay, so this is one pine, it's ready. A little bit of bottom will be the bottom of the tree will be little broad and larger leaves. Top will have shorter leaves. Okay, so or maybe a line or two will also be okay at the top. So yeah, so you can see how I'm leaving some spaces here. That's how. Okay, so here I have like painted two pine trees. I don't intend to keep them black, but a little bit of gray to look more natural. And like remaining painting is the top part of the painting is already done by now. The thing that we are painting at last is the the grass or the meadows and flowers that you'll be seeing. So for this, like you can use different colors. You can use green for the grass, a little bit of, you can add a little bit of brown for a, rustic kind of look. So it just need, and you need a very brush of, any size 0 or 1, a very thin round brush. I'll start with green first and I'll show you how I prepare these strokes for the grass. So I'm just taking unmixed, undiluted green here. So for grass, you have to use like very random strokes, not anything perfect. So, like some will be long, some will be like shorter strokes, a little bit of, some strokes can be wider, some can be thin, etc. And, so it's up to you, like how long. Usually I prefer, like when it's a meadow, there will be more flowers towards the edges and less towards the, center. So I keep switching between brown and green. I keep switching between brown and green. Yeah. So very random strokes, guys. So you can keep doing it with me if you are painting along. Or if you're just watching it, maybe I'll just rush up, You can also use a, fan brush if you have ever heard of it. Like it's a different kind of brush. I don't have it ready with me right now, so I'm just using the same round brush. So fan brush basically has this hair of the brush are spread, and it's very easy to paint grass with a fan brush. So just, the more the merrier grass, the different shades. This is like almost here. Okay. You can also add a little bit of white in the grass. I just like it, so I just keep adding it at bits of places, like some dots or some whites to show, flowers and a different aesthetic look. I can add a little bit of black in places. So grass can be, like different colors, shades in the same area. not necessarily green always, but okay. So I think I'm pretty much done with the grass here, and I'll be painting some flowers. So for flowers, what I usually do is I take some paint. So I'll just do some yellow flowers first, and I usually take paint in the palette and I dilute it a little bit. Instead of painting one flower, I just dilute the paint and I kind of sprinkle it. See, so you will get flowers of, you know, random shapes and sizes. So we can do the similar activity with some red or pink. Some flowers will be making like ourselves. Some I'm just sprinkling. So it's just diluted paint here, which will pop like this. Okay, so it will give me, and try to you know, pop it like this, like try to tap the brush from here so that it does not spread in rest of the area. If you're afraid and you can't do it, just make sure the above area is all dry and cover it with a paper maybe. See, so it's so easy to paint flowers like this, and you get different colors and different shapes, which makes it look more natural. You also use another brush to just, you know, tap it like this and just keep adding more of. So after I'm like done splattering the flowers here, I'll just make some random flowers with my brush. Mix any size brush, like flowers for the meadow, any different colors. You can go for yellow, white, pink, red, you know, any vibrant colors. So I'll go with a bit of yellow now because I've already painted pink. Just gives it a more natural look. And yeah, so I hope you know, you guys are getting along with this, and definitely it takes a little bit of practice to do it quick, but you know, this video will be available on MENORAH's Instagram page, I suppose, so you can see the video again. And I'm just making some white flowers now, and I think I'm like done. You can do as many flowers as you want here, but I'll leave it to it. Yeah. So the last step in this painting is done. So we first, like, I'll just give a recap. We first painted the sky from left to right top. Then after the sky was dried, I painted the clouds with a mix of white and blue, and then a little bit of white here and there. Then we painted the mountain with a darker shade, not with the same shade of the sky, just a darker shade, leaving spaces here and there for the snow part. Then we painted the meadow. First layer we painted in light green. Then the second layer I painted was yellow and a little bit of darker green towards the bottom. Okay, so just to make sense that, you know, this area near the land is darker, so just to give it that look. And once everything was dried, I painted the pines, shorter at the top, longer leaves at the bottom, and wider pines. Then we painted the grass and okay. So thanks for sticking by. The last part is just to remove the masking tape, and I'll be not doing it right now. I'll just show you to you how to remove the masking tape, but make sure that your painting is completely dried before you do it. My painting is not dry, but just to show you guys how to peel it off. So always peel it off from, you know, the rear end, and don't peel it off like this. It will tear off your papers. Peel it off in an inclination like this, slowly. Be very careful at this step because this is where most of the paintings get ruined. People usually end up tearing that paper. So, you know, make very sure, like the paper here is not to be blamed. The paper is really good, but it's just a technique how to remove the masking tape. So make sure your painting is dry and you remove it. Don't just pull it. Just be very gentle and patient with it. So, yep. I think this is the final product that we have. And if you guys have any query, just feel free to shoot it to me on Crazy Scribbler. I go by the name of Crazy Scribbler on Instagram, and my name is Snigdha. I think I missed it in the intro. or you can also like shoot your queries to Menorah. And yep. Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed, had fun. And you can see the video again on MENORAH's IGTV whenever you want to refer it. So have a great day. Thanks for joining. Bye bye.